UFC 318 is this weekend. I'm going to go over the entire card as quick as possible to give you my quick picks and predictions for each individual matchup, starting with the main event, working my way down the card to the first prelim of the night. And as you can see there, at the bottom is a favorite pick section. I'm going to be going over those specifically in detail because I love those matchups. Ige, Daniel Zellhuber, and Vinicius Oliveira all have very, very favorable matchups, and I do believe they're going to come out on top for UFC 318. Now, Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, the BMF title main event. I'm kind of pissed that they're doing a BMF title, but it is what it is. I mean, they've retired that thing at least once, maybe even twice now at this point. This will be a third time. If Dustin Poirier wins this and he retires with the BMF belt, what happens? They're probably going to bring it back and have Dustin Poirier like wrap the next winner, which kind of pisses me off, but that's besides the point. Dustin Poirier is not beating Max Holloway. It's his retirement fight. Yes, I understand he came off a career fight against Islam Makhachev, and even though he lost, you still got to give the man credit because he gave Islam hell, okay? He gave Islam a very, very tough matchup, but I don't think that's going to be the case here for Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway's pressure, I think his volume, I think his pace, I think everything is just going to overwhelm Dustin a little bit too much at this point in his career. Yes, he doesn't need to worry about the grappling, which, you know, is going to change everything, but Dustin is not going to submit Max. He's not going to knock Max out. Dustin Poirier does not have that Ilia Topuria power.
Alert, alert. Ladies incoming.
Ilia Topuria is just a different breed. Ilia Topuria is just on a different planet by himself, okay? The power is just unfathomable. It's him, and then right underneath him is like Alex Pereira. Yeah, you heard me right there. I literally just ranked Ilia Topuria higher than Poatan. Pound for pound power, you can't tell me he's not. You just can't. Essentially, though, I do think Max Holloway is going to come in here. He's going to do his thing, and he's going to beat Dustin Poirier. Is it going to be a close fight? Yes. Is Dustin Poirier going to land some shots that potentially sway judges for specific rounds and make it a lot closer than it needs to be? Potentially, but I do think Max Holloway is going to come out on top. And I'm not giving up on his chin yet, bro. I'm not giving up on Max Holloway's chin. So give me Max Holloway to come in here and beat Dustin Poirier via decision. Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov, I can't pick Paulo Costa. There's no confidence in backing this guy anymore, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a pullout on his end in this fight. This would be an absolute banger if Paulo Costa actually comes in here off a training camp fully healthy and is prepared to fight. But 35% of me thinks that Paulo Costa is going to pull out, and the other 65% thinks like Roman Kopylov is just too good of a striker for Paulo Costa. Roman Kopylov is going to go in there, and he's just going to piece Paulo Costa the F up. It's as simple as that. Is Paulo Costa going to wrestle enough to negate Roman Kopylov's striking? No, probably not. And Roman Kopylov, it's not like he's a fish out of water anymore. I mean, he's been working on his wrestling. He's been going to Dagestan consistently, working with those guys up there on his takedown defense specifically and keeping the fight where he wants it. And I think this fight's going to stay standing for the most part. I don't see Paulo Costa winning unless that one judge is there and brings his one friend. I forget his name, but you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. When Strickland fought Paulo Costa and he won via split decision, even though it should have been unanimous, like 49-46, at least 4-1, maybe even 5-0. But, you know, you could give Paulo Costa a round here and there. That was unbelievable. If that judge is there, Paulo Costa might have a chance to win this fight. But aside from that, I don't think so. I think Roman Kopylov even has a slight chance of knocking him out. But again, Paulo Costa's got a chin, so don't even count on that. Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Holland. I'm not even going to break this fight down. Kevin Holland is going to go in there and he's going to do whatever he wants to do to Daniel Rodriguez. Probably submit him via his favorite submission with the Darce choke. That's it. That's the prediction. Kevin Holland, unless he goes in there with a broken foot, a pulled hamstring, and his shoulder out of his socket, he's going to win this fight however he wants. However he wants this fight to go is how it's going to go for Kevin Holland. My official pick, Kevin Holland via submission. Patricio Pitbull and Dan Ige, I can't back Patricio Pitbull. And a lot of people are going to sit here and say, well, it was the nerves, man. It was his first UFC fight. You know, he's a Bellator champion. He's a beast. Pitbull is way past that in his career, bro. He is not going to come in here and improve any more than maybe his previous fight. Maybe he'll be slightly better than he was against Yair Rodriguez, but dude, Dan Ige is a beast. Dan Ige is a dog. And ever since Dan Ige stepped up on short notice against Diego Lopez, it's a different Dan Ige. Okay, yeah, he lost that fight, but Dan Ige, I'm telling you right now, is going to come in here. He's going to put the bombs on Patricio Pitbull. He's going to keep this fight standing. And Pitbull is probably going to show a little bit of that Patricio Pitbull that we saw against Yair Rodriguez. A little tentative, a little slower of a start, trying to figure Dan Ige out, because Dan Ige is not an easy guy to figure out, man. Dan Ige is a savvy vet. Give me Dan Ige to win this fight via decision. And what is that, my third decision in a row? Max Holloway, Roman Kopylov, and Dan Ige all by decision. Unfortunately, I think that's how this card's going to roll. Michael Johnson and Daniel Zellhuber, another easy prediction to make. Michael Johnson is about to turn 40. He has been in the UFC for years and years, decades, bro. We're talking decades this guy's been in the UFC. His chin has taken punishment after punishment. And shout out to Michael Johnson, because he has not only fought, you know, the mid-tier guys, he has fought the best of the best, bro. Michael Johnson has fought killers, he's fought champions, he's fought journeymen, he's fought savvy vets, he's fought everyone, okay? Michael Johnson knows a thing or two about fighting. Is that going to be enough to beat a killer like Daniel Zellhuber? I don't think so. I'm going to be taking Daniel Zellhuber to come in here and actually finish Michael Johnson via KO, but there is a potential that he clubs and subs him, so be careful with that pick. Ultimately, I'm taking Daniel Zellhuber to finish Michael Johnson and win this fight. Probably by TKO, but like I said, there is a chance, there is potential for a sneaky club and sub in that fight. Kyler Phillips and Vinicius Oliveira, again, this is one of those where I look at your last performance, and his last performance against Rob Font was a little lackluster, so I can't back him. I can't back him in this position right here. I kind of was initially looking at this fight, and I saw Kyler Phillips as a dog, and I really wanted to pick him, but I just couldn't. Vinicius Oliveira is an actual dog, bro. Like, this guy is ready to go to war with just about anyone. He has cardio. He has pace. He's going to apply the pressure, and unless you can, like, somehow just hold him down on the ground, which Kyler Phillips probably won't be doing, unless you can somehow backpack him up like an Aljamain Sterling would, which Kyler Phillips is probably not going to be doing, you're not beating Vinicius Oliveira. Give me Vinicius Oliveira to come in here, and I do believe that he's going to put the pressure, the pace on Kyler Phillips, make him wilt a little bit, and ultimately find the knockout in that third round. A late TKO. Give me Vinicius Oliveira by round 3 TKO. I'm going to be specific on this one and go round 3 TKO. Vinicius Oliveira is an absolute unit. Marvin, Vettori, and Brendan Allen is up next. I have seen so many people all over Marvin Vettori, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. How are you going to back a guy that's just not active? Like, Marvin Vettori just doesn't fight enough for me to be like, yeah, Marvin Vettori is going to come in here and he's shown me enough. And, you know, yes, he lost to Roman Dolidze. Was it a bad loss? No. Was it a good loss? Not really. You know, you can't tell me that the Marvin Vettori that shows up against that Roman Dolidze is going to beat a Brendan Allen. And I really, listen, look, the only concern I have with Brendan Allen is he's dominating, and all of a sudden he just decides he wants to switch the game plan completely and throw everything he's been doing out the window and do something else that makes him lose the fight. I mean, that's literally what happened his last fight. Look, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, I do understand why a lot of people pick Marvin Vettori, but I'm gonna pick Brendan Allen. I just don't see this. He's the younger fighter too, which, you know, doesn't always matter in any sort of way, but I think Brendan Allen's going to come in here and really take this fight serious. I think he's going to come in here. I think he's going to show people that he does have that submission threat. He's still able to take down these guys with great takedown defense and take their backs and threaten with submissions. I think we'll see him take Marvin Vettori's back, maybe not submit him, but threaten enough to win a few rounds and get the nod on the judges' scorecards. Give me Brendan Allen to win this fight via decision. Next fight is Nikolay Veretennikov versus Francisco Prado. I'm not going to dig into this much. I'm only taking Francisco Prado because Nikolay Veretennikov, he's 0-2 in the UFC with a knockout loss. And Francisco Prado, yes, he's had a rough run-in with the UFC too. I think he's 1-3. But he has lost to some pretty good competition, bro. So you can't knock the guy. He's 23 years old. 23 years old, bro. All of these losses are experience. Okay, this is all building Francisco Prado into the true mixed martial artist that he's going to become today. I think Prado's going to come in here, and as long as he can stay composed, I feel like in this fight, he should win. As long as he's not going in there and trying to swing bombs and trying to take Nikolay Veretenikov's head off immediately, Prado should go in there, jab him up, do more damage than Nikolay. You know, try and avoid the wrestling, because I think Prado's going to have an edge on the feet here and ultimately knock Nikolay Veretennikov out. He has the power to do it, and I think if Prado doesn't, shell up, he isn't a shell of himself, and he comes in here with a little bit more confidence, because he is coming off a few losses. It's hard to bounce back, but he's lost to good competition, bro. I don't even knock him for it. I think if he can come in here and not be tentative, I think Francisco Prado is going to get a KO. If he's a little bit more tentative, then I lean decision, but I still think he's going to win this fight. Give me Francisco Prado by KO or decision. Robert Valentin, Ateba Gautier. Ateba is going to smoke Robert. Like, absolutely smoke him like a joint, like a cigarette. However, whatever correlation, like a cheetah, okay, whatever correlation you want to use, this isn't even going to be a close fight. Ateba by probably first round KO, TKO. The Robert is not going to. This will be a game of cat and mouse where Robert will probably just be fighting to survive. Literally not even fighting to fight, fighting to survive. Give me Ateba to come in here and TKO him in the first round. Adam Fugitt and Islam Dulatov. This is a weird fight because you could predict this the same way I did with the last fight and go first round TKO. But I think Adam Fugitt is actually going to come in here and for some reason give Islam some resistance. So I'm going to take Islam actually by a later TKO in this fight. I'm going to take him either round 2 or 3 KO, TKO. I think Adam Fugitt, has shown over the years that he does have a chin, and Islam, although he hits very hard, I think this is going to be one of those fights where it might even go to decision, bro. It's just going to be one of those weird fights. There's always a fight on the card that ends up being 180 degrees of what you initially thought it was going to be, and this is that fight that I'm looking at right now. Adam Fugitt and Islam Dulatov. I kind of want to take a shot at the decision, but I'm going to go late second round or late third round TKO, KO. By Islam Dulatov, not Adam Fugitt. Adam Fugitt is not winning this fight. Marcin Prachnio versus Jimmy Crute. I believe in my boy Jimmy Crute. And look, I know a lot of you are sitting here, you're looking at the screen, you're thinking to yourself, wait, this guy is literally just listing off all favorites. What is this guy doing? Like, he's actually a bum, bro. Like, are you serious? Dude, cut me some slack, okay? I didn't find any good underdogs that I liked. I mean, I literally tried I tried with Kyler Phillips. I tried with Marvin Vettori. I just don't like it. I love Zellhuber in his matchup. I love Oliveira in his matchup. And Brendan Allen, I don't love, but I do think he can come in here and beat Marvin Vettori. And Marcin Prachnio is not going to be the underdog that I take. Jimmy Crute should be able to go in here, should have the power advantage, should have the strength advantage, and he should be able to just do whatever he wants to Prachnio. I don't see any resistance really coming from Marcin's side, and as long as Jimmy Crute doesn't do anything out of the ordinary or stupid or make a dumb, silly mistake, he should be winning this fight. Give me Jimmy Crute to come in here and finish Marcin Prachnio either by a TKO with ground and pound or a submission. I could see him pull off like maybe an arm triangle or something like that on the ground there. So give me Jimmy Crute to finish this fight. Lukasz, Brzeski, and Ryan Spann. There's no way that you could have a brain, be normal, and sit here and try and convince me that Lukasz Brzeski is winning this fight. Give me Ryan Spann by submission. I think he's going to come in here and show a little bit more improvement for his heavyweight jump. And I'm not saying improvement in a sense of like, his skill level, but improvement in a sense of like improving his body in order to be able to actually, fight in the heavyweight division. Put on a little bit more muscle, put on a little bit more mass, tone up a little bit, not just have the extra fat on your body, okay? If Ryan Spann can come in here in good shape and not be injured, he should be able to submit Lukasz Brzeski probably within the first 2 rounds. So give me Ryan Spann via submission. Jackson McVey and Bruno Ferreira. I feel so bad for Jackson McVey. The guy literally made weight for his last fight. He was ready to go, and then his opponent pulls out. And I actually think he had 2 or 3 opponent pullouts prior to that. Like, he was ready to fight, and then he had an opponent pull out on him. Or no. The original opponent, I think, pulled out, and then Jackson stepped in, and then his opponent pulled out, and then they got him another opponent, and then that opponent pulled out. So I think he had 2 pullouts. Whatever. I feel so bad. He's facing an absolute killer in Bruno Ferreira, and there's no way Bruno Ferreira is losing this fight. He should be able to come in here and finish Jackson McVey. It's too big of a jump, like, immediately. I mean, you're coming off the regional scene, and then you fight Bruno Ferreira as your first UFC fight. Yeah, no, that's not working out. Give me Bruno Ferreira to come in here and TKO, or maybe even submit Jackson McVey. He's finishing him regardless of how he chooses to do it. TKO or club and sub. Whatever Bruno Ferreira's feeling that day, I guess. Regardless, Bruno Ferreira by finish over Jackson McVey. And the final fight of the night, or actually technically the first fight on the card, but the final fight that I'm going to be breaking down, Nicole versus Carly. I'm not even going to be breaking this fight down. I'm taking Carly just because everyone's been saying her boxing is better and she has more power, so I'm going to trust it. I don't trust anything else that I've been hearing about Nicole being, this phenomenal grappler that could potentially take down Carly. Nope, I'm not falling for it. And she's not getting cage hugging time over Carly. It's just not happening. Like I said, I'm not breaking down this fight. I don't want to break it down, but I am taking Carly Judas just because I have to. I'm taking Carly to win this fight. She is a huge favorite. She's like a 3-1 favorite, but it almost makes me want to pick Nicole because I know for a fact that the bigger the woman's favorite, the more opportunity and chance their opponent has to win their fight. But whatever, I'm going to stick with Carly Judas. And I just want to go into a little bit more depth with my favorite picks. Dan Ige is a phenomenal pick over Patricio Pitbull. I think Patricio Pitbull is coming into the UFC a little too late in his career. I don't think he's as good as people, remember him as being when he was in Bellator. You know what I mean? And the step up in competition, I mean, we've seen it before with these guys, Patchy Mix, Michael Chandler. These guys come over from the Bellator scene. They're absolute units. They're killers in Bellator, and then they come over here and they're completely different in the UFC. It doesn't make sense, but it also does make sense because at the end of the day, the UFC is the pinnacle of this sport. So Dan Ige, I'm comfortably taking to win his fight over Patricio Pitbull. I don't even have a second thought or doubt in my mind. Give me Dan Ige to win that fight. Daniel Zellhuber, again, do I have to scream it at you? There's no way Michael Johnson is winning this fight. He has too much mileage on his body, but he's also about to turn 40. Daniel Zellhuber is the new gen. He's an up-and-coming killer. He has a chin. I mean, go look at the Esteban Ribovic fight. If you really don't believe me, there's no way that Michael Johnson is cracking his chin. He's not taking him down. He's not submitting him. So what's Michael Johnson to do? He's to lose this fight. Daniel Zellhuber is an absolute lock on the card. And Vinicius Oliveira, look, I know I said that Kyler Phillips initially I wanted to take as a dog, but I just can't. The more I look at that fight, the more I think about that fight, the more I just dig into it, the more beautiful Vinicius Oliveira looks. He's going to win the fight. He's going to be more dominant. There's nothing that Kyler Phillips presents that's going to be super dangerous. He is a danger, obviously. He's a mixed martial artist. He's a professional UFC fighter, bro. He's obviously a danger, but there's nothing that sits there and screams, at me. You know what I mean? Like, Kyler Phillips has jiu-jitsu like no other, and he could submit Vinicius Oliveira. Well, Vinicius has already proved that he's got some pretty good defense, and he's got some pretty good takedown defense too. You know, he's not an easy guy to keep on the ground. Cool. Well, Kyler Phillips, he's going to knock him out, or he's going to spinning elbow. No, he's not. Vinicius Oliveira also has a chin, and I'd argue that the striking is 20 times more dangerous coming from Vinicius Oliveira than it is from Kyler Phillips. You know what I mean? Oliveira is just an absolute dog. He's got power like no other. He's a killer. Okay, he's an absolute killer, and I'm confidently saying that he's going to win his fight. Guys, thank you so much for watching my entire UFC 318 quick picks, early predictions. I'm going to have another live stream, not video, live stream that comes out Friday night. Well, I guess it's going to be live, but it also will come out Friday night, breaking down post-weigh-in UFC 318 fights. But aside from that, I'm going to be, dropping some videos throughout the week, maybe stream here and there. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.